just shows you there that, you know, our day in the sun. I mean, there's a lot of people that know West now, and we were a little secret before. Everybody knew the Kolache stop, but nobody really knew about the city or the people. And I think that probably is part of it too. They saw how, you know, how gracious and how, you know, how wonderful these people are, how tenacious they are, and how, you know, we always knew it. I always knew it, but nobody else did.
Huge Czech culture. I think that's what everyone kind of gathers when they first come to West. Of course, we have Czech Stop, which is our main tourist attraction. We also have Slovakians on the other side of the interstate. West is a great town. If you want to raise your family in a small town, I think West is definitely the place.
Basically just people who, you know, don't like the big cities. We like small towns. We like West. It's just our home. All I know is basically my entire family's been around here all my life, and I don't know much more than that.
I was born and raised in West. Went to local school, Navarra Junior College, and so I've lived here all my life. My whole family has been in this area for many, many years. What y'all doing? How are y'all? I'm fine. Just another day in paradise.
It's just a little town, tight-knit community, less than 3,000 people. Of course, we're in Central Texas. There's a lot of small towns. You know, everybody knows everybody. You know, I know my entire senior class. Talk to all of them. You know, that's just how small town schools are. We have a lot of dances, you know, just like country dances, whatever. Just hang out with friends, just whatever you can do to pass the time in a small town.
About 15 years ago or so, I basically went totally to the wheelchair. And an interesting thing about that, this is a power wheelchair. An interesting thing about the power wheelchair especially was that in one sense it's a lot more confining, but in another sense, and in a very major way, it's much more liberating because now, as long as things are accessible, I mean, I can go around North Haven Mall or any place without any concern about getting tired because the chair does all the work.
I think it's been interesting in seeing Bill evolve in our relationship. When we first got together, Bill was very politically active, and at that time, you know, he was a co-chair of the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, and involved in a lot of different activities that dealt with the gay issues and with women's issues. And then at some point along the way, he, you know, made the decision that he wanted to step away from that and get more involved in academia and what he was doing there. I do at times remind him that I'm in a culture where we do get evaluated, and our job performance is always on the line, if you will. So we joke about tenure and how he has it and I don't. So
it was successful. We had no idea who was going to turn up. We had no idea whether this was truly a politically reactionary place at that time, mostly. He had no idea whether people were going to come in and try to disrupt it. So we were sort of ready for almost anything. And the first night, 100 people showed up and pretty much stayed at that number, or maybe 90 or 85 or something for all the subsequent meetings. And it was called Being Gay in Contemporary America.
I came out to my mom when I was in middle school. I was like 11 or 12. The way I decided to come out to her was I wanted to rip off the bandage, essentially. And so what I ended up doing was she was dropping me off at school, and as I'm like getting out of the car, I'm halfway out, and I turn back and just really quickly say, "Mom, I think I'm gay." Slam the door, and I run away. I just run into the building, and like not until it closes do I feel secure enough to actually look back. And so I turn around and look into the glass, and her face is just totally, it was somewhere caught between being startled to what could possibly be like some sort of like epic terror. And so she turns to me and starts drifting the car, and the car slowly starts moving forward. Her head turns back and faces forward, and it zooms out. It just zooms out of the parking lot, and we don't talk about it for months. And so with this little, like, what could have been just like 30 seconds, ended up being what kick-started our whole, what would be our whole experiences for the next 6 years or so.
It's funny how for a culture that has been fighting for decades and decades and decades for acceptance and inclusion, to suddenly within that own culture, we suddenly start excluding each other. You know, I've had people that are all into me until they find out that I'm Jenna Skye or find out that I do drag, and suddenly I'm disgusting, or I'm no longer attractive, or I'm no longer an option for them because they need someone who, you know, is gonna be a man. And you know, I do my own drywall and paint my own walls and change my own oil and do my own yard work. And this whole straight acting thing and masculine acting, you know, the only thing that I act is like a woman. If I need to act like a man, I can do that too. But, you know, I don't want to be an actor for anyone. I don't want an actor in my life. I want someone who is equally ambitious and intelligent and charismatic and nurturing and caring and outgoing. You know, those are qualities to me that I think should resonate, not if you act like a man or don't act like a woman. I think that's a pretty narrow way to look at things, but that seems to be the whole mantra of the gay culture these days, sadly.
I think Pride Parade is still relevant. It's important for our community to have opportunities where we can get together and celebrate. I think while it's certainly a different event, I feel the same way about Black Tie Dinner, where 3,000 plus people can get together once a year and be reminded of the pride in our community and how many of people there are. At Pulse nightclub in Orlando, a shooter murdered 49 people who were there from the LGBT community, most of whom were from the Latinx community. It was important that the community come together after the shooting in Orlando because we had so much grief and shock. The vigil served a number of purposes, and Orlando was a culmination for some. Maybe it was the sole reason for being there for others, but I think what hit our community so hard about Orlando was that we are vulnerable, and it was another example and a real incident that happened that showed the entire world how vulnerable we are and how safety is a real issue. And here in Dallas, we had gone through our own period in which there was just crime after crime after crime. So I think there was a lot of pent-up energy around that, and a way for the community to again gather for support, gather out of frustration, gather for all those reasons.